Welcome back, everyone. Yesterday we was cleaning the exterior of the CLK, and today we're gonna take a look on interior. The first thing we're gonna do is to take a look on the door. It's some cloth down here where you clearly see there is some stains, and then you have the rubber pieces here where there's like dirt in between. So we're gonna try to get that out, and in order to do that, it's quite simple. I use a interior wash. Works really well with a window washer as well. And then I have a paintbrush. Well, I had two different kinds of paintbrushes, and I also found a brush that you use to clean between your tiles. There is, of course, specific tools for these kinds of work, but we are going to do this on a budget, so therefore I'm picking up these painter's tools and use those instead. When you're picking up brushes and stuff like that, try to find brushes that are as hard as possible. If we have a look here, we see that there are some black stains here and there's dirt into them. And I want to get that off, and just by scrubbing it, it doesn't gonna work. But I'm gonna spray some interior wash here and let that soak for a little bit, and then I'm gonna start working with this brush. Spray that down a little bit, and I'm gonna see if that brush can get it off. This one is too soft for this, so I'm gonna go for the harder one. And same thing here, spray it down a little bit, and then I'm gonna start brushing. And this one works really well. So from here I'm just gonna brush everything off until I'm satisfied with the result. Well, just look at this. It looks like brand new. So this is really effective. It really gets into all the small cracks and dents here and really get it off. So this is a really nice brush. I could totally recommend you to try to pick this up. Considering that it's made to clean between tiles, it's hard because it's going to brush on concrete, kind of. Here I'm just going to work all the way around the door and make it as clean as I can get it. Wow, this is really good. It works really well. There's a part in here between where there's some paint and you clearly see some marks. I'm gonna see if I could get that out from there. So let's soak it first and scrub. Oh, that's a huge difference actually. Still a little bit left here, but overall it's really good. So from here I'm gonna work the entire door and get it properly clean. And when you're done with the whole area, you just clean it off with a microfiber cloth and check if there's any spots that you missed. I'm a little bit careful with the trim pieces here because they're kind of like shiny, and there might be a risk that if you have a brush that is too hard, it might scratch those areas. So be careful with those. So this is a typical place where you have some dust here and in between. And before I do anything here, I'm gonna take a dry brush and just go in between and just brush it off. That's almost everything you need. And from here you just take a little bit wet microfiber cloth and just dry it off a little bit. It's pretty good now. There's still a spot up here that I'm gonna take care of. There's a speaker here, so I need to be a little bit careful. That's basically all there is to it and how I'm doing this. To finalize it all, I'm gonna take some vinyl care and I'm gonna put that on the microfiber cloth, and then I'm gonna like clean it all off with the vinyl care. This gives some protection and shine. There's some leather here as well. You could actually put some leather care on it, but this works, actually this one works on leather and skin as well. So I'm just gonna dry it all off with this. Of course this is some cloth and I'm skipping that area. And since we have some leather here as well, I'm gonna give it some leather care as well. The difference I feel now is that it feels a little bit softer after the clean with the interior clean. It felt a little bit dry and sticky, but now it feels just as it should. The leather care works the same way. I'm gonna put that on the microfiber cloth like this. And then I'm gonna work that into the leather here. So this is basically how I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna do the same with the other door. And then I'm gonna work many of the interior details all around the car the same way with a brush it off. I mean, first soak it and then brush it off. So it takes some while to do this, but the result is really good. It definitely makes the car look new. We have another area of the car that I'm actually going to work with now. This is basically the same. We have some black things in all the cracks, but overall this steering wheel is not really that shiny, but it's dirty, and I think that this is what I as a driver see all the time. So I think it would be really nice to clean this off as well. In order to do this, the principle is the same. I really like this brush, so I'm going to continue with that, and I'm going to cover it up a little bit. So I'm going to spray it down like this and soak it first. From here I also have the blue microfiber cloth laying here, and I'm going to use that as a protection. And I just say, wow, this is a huge difference. Look at this. This is how it was before, and this is just after a brush. So imagine when all this is gonna be gone. That's gonna be a huge difference. This brush is extremely effective. I'm impressed by this. I'm gonna try this painting brush here and see how well that works. It does the work, but not as good as this one. This one is much softer, so this one is useful for other stuff, but to really grind out the dirt that are getting stuck here, this is a really nice brush. It's not so effective. Well, it is effective, but the area it covers is quite small. So from here I'm just gonna work my way all around the steering wheel and make sure it gets really clean. When you're working with this, you kind of want to have something behind, because otherwise you're gonna get detergent everywhere. So I'm using this blue one just to like cover it off from going everywhere. This is extremely satisfying to see how of a big transformation this, or overall when you're looking on your car, the steering wheel is really important, because that is the first impression you get of the car your main impression of it when you're like sitting in it and using it. And you could tell quite a lot from a steering wheel. If it's shiny, that generally means that it's either poor quality or that the car has been like used a lot and it's a high mileage. And when you're doing this, don't forget the outside of it as well. It's kind of a good idea to use a mask when doing this. Another thing you can do is to actually turn the engine on and move the steering wheel so you get access to other areas. Here we have an area with a lot of stuffs, and all this is going to be completely gone. This is basically where you're holding your hands most of the time when you're using the steering wheel. So let's brush this off, and then we're gonna turn the steering wheel around and we're gonna do the other side. What's fun about this is something I don't do that often. I'm definitely not a restoring expert in any way, but this is just a regular tool that I found in the store, and it was like $2 or something like that. And the result you get by it is extremely good. Sometimes you could buy specific tools specific for some purpose, and they are quite expensive because they are made for like cleaning cars, but it is in many cases just a brush. What you want though is a brush that are quite hard. This is basically how I'm going to continue with all the details in the car. When I'm done with the steering wheel, after I've been brushing it off, I'm going to take the leather care and put the leather care on it. I'm not going to put a vinyl care because the vinyl care is a little bit slippery. I think there's some silicone in it, and silicone on the steering wheel is, well, not the best idea because it's slippery. So whatever you do, don't use vinyl care or silicone-based products on the steering wheel or the pedals because, well, you could slip. So I'm done with the steering wheel and it looks really good. It almost looks brand new, which is nice. And honestly, it's a little bit disturbing to do this because I kind of realized how much dirt and stuff there is on a steering wheel. And that's where you're holding your hands most of the time, which is a little bit gross, but now it's clean at least. And I'm gonna take the leather care and put it on the steering wheel because the steering wheel in this car is made of leather. So after you've been like using the cleaners on it, the leather is a little bit dry, so it's a good idea to put the leather care on it. And when doing stuff like this, be a little bit careful of what kind of chemicals you're using on your car, because if you have an expensive leather and you're using a product that is not good for leather, you might damage the leather and your car. So do your research and read on the bottles. I'm not sure about this one, but this one says it's a cleaning. Let's see what it says. It's a cleaning that removing dirt and fat from plastic. Could be used on the inside and outside, and it smells like lemon. Doesn't say anything about leather, so I'm not sure about it. But what we've done now is that we cleaned it on the outside to see what we're dealing with overall, and I could see all the scratches and stuff like that. I could see the rust and what I need to work with. Now we're starting to clean it on the inside, and we've done one door with some leather and vinyl. So now I'm going to continue to do the same thing off the camera on all the leather and vinyl stuff that requires the same kind of treatment. From that, after that, we're gonna go to the instrument, and we're gonna remove the dust, and we're really gonna go into detail and detailing this car and remove all the dust and stuff like that. So not only the outside will look brand new when I'm done, but also the interior. And a lot of focus is gonna be on the interior. I think I'm actually gonna use this brush on the seats as well. But when you're doing the seats, if you have leather seats, be a little bit careful and don't use too much of the wash. And when you're done, you just soak it with the leather care and it will be fine. If you want to follow this project and this build, you could click here to see the playlist with the other films. A good way out is also to subscribe and click that bell icon, and you can subscribe by clicking here. Thanks for watching, and I see you later.